tonight with Evette Dionne. Hello, Evette.
Hello, how are you?
I am doing very well. And Yvette has to represent for all three panelists tonight because we had some incidents and some technical difficulties with our other two panelists. So she's representing.
Yeah, I'm doing my best.
Oh, wow. That gives us so much confidence there. So this episode is Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. It is season 3, episode 2, and it was a lot in one sitting. And since we're recording it right after the actual show, it is so much. I almost don't even know how to start addressing it. What was your favorite moment from tonight?
Whew, that's a tough one. I would say my favorite moment of tonight was when Olivia was having the conversation in her mind. Her name is slipping my mind, but with Janine.
Janine.
With Janine. And she was saying to her that every time you lie, you lose a bit of your soul. And I thought that was very interesting given her relationship with her father and all of the lies that he told her about himself. Very, very Shonda Rhimes-ish, but very interesting. That was definitely my favorite moment, that whole conversation.
But you say given her relationship with her father, but actually her relationship with everybody in her life is pretty much based on a steeping hill of lies.
That's very true.
Yeah, the whole Quinn thing last season and all of that information coming out, she's just a liar. I mean,
That's
I don't even know what else to say about it. She lies a lot, clearly.
And she doesn't, when she's defending people, whether they're being honest or lying to her, she defends them anyway, or she protects their image or fixes their problem. So, yeah, her whole life is pretty much predicated on lies. Yeah, very much so.
That's kind of sad.
Yeah, in a way.
What were your 3 highlights for this episode?
My 3 highlights. I think number 1, realizing when Olivia revealed that who Huck was to her father. That was very enlightening for me. I'm glad that they did that flashback, particularly this season, because I don't think it would have made as much sense last season. But I love that they did that highlight because it really showed how far or how intricate her relationship with Huck is. We see them and we know that their relationship is, a tad bit strange given his past, but, that was the first time I could put all of the pieces together. I would say another highlight was the conversation that Olivia had with Fitz at the beginning about going for the jugular. I loved that whole scene there. And I would say the last one is, this is kind of shallow, but Abby's makeover. She is fierce and she's very comfortable with herself, it seems, and she is smoking. I'm like, okay, Abby.
But she was always comfortable with herself. She was just a nasty, rude, disrespectful.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
Disrespectful person. I actually like Bellamy's makeover as well. She looks really nice. I really love the way she looks. Especially when she stood in the oval and she was all sleek. I'm like, go ahead, girl. Hello. You look kind of nice.
Beautiful. And I wonder what prompted that, shift for her. But she looks beautiful as well.
Well, my 3 were mainly with Huck. It was Huck beating down the thieves in the subway.
Yes.
It was when he realized that Olivia's father is commander, and it was when he just walked away from Olivia. Those were my 3 favorites because honestly, it just seems like what we talked about last on the Scandal Rewind, that Olivia's gladiators are turning on her, and it's very obvious that that's what's happening, even though you didn't expect it. Like, it seems like Harrison is saying, beating on his chest, Olivia had a reason. Olivia had a reason. She had a reason, but he doesn't seem so convicted that, as he was before, as convicted as he was before. And then also with Huck telling Quinn to be more like Olivia and less like him, and Quinn saying, hey, I'm gonna just do what I want to do, whatever. That kind of, I love those parts. Was the case for this episode compelling to you, and why?
The case it wasn't great. I think it was compelling because it really kind of served as a parallel for Olivia and her father's relationship in many ways. Her father, and Olivia is always so powerful in all of her interactions. She's usually the person in control. And when it comes to her relationship with her father, he is in control. And so I think that situation with the aide, it's kind of similar and presents some parallels, but I just don't think it was as dynamic as other cases have been.
Okay. The case to me wasn't really hot either. I just thought that it would make a lot of sense for them to just let the girl just say that she was with Fitz. I mean, what was the big deal? I didn't see what the big deal was. Did you?
I think Olivia and Fitz are being very selfish. They're starting to really, think about themselves and about their relationship, if that's plausible when he has a wife. But and I think that they're making decisions based on their own best interests. So both Fitz and Olivia want to reveal their relationship because they want to be together. And I think they both see that as their only way out. If we reveal this relationship, and maybe you'll get impeached, and maybe your political career will be over, but at least we can be together.
But she doesn't seem to be the one pushing for that.
I think she was. Remember when in the last episode when she told Mellie the whole thing of how they were going to go about it, and Mellie said no, we're not going to do that. But that was more in line with what Fitz and Olivia want to do. Like, I don't think if it was up to him, he wouldn't be president. If he could be with Olivia, forget being president. I want to be with Olivia, and that suits her just fine too. I think that's the reason why she really wanted to resist this notion that the aide is the mistress, or the aide is the woman that he was sleeping with, because that means, once the person is exposed, then you go through the whole process of covering it up, and then it gets pushed under the rug and you never talk about it. Like, she wants people to talk about it.
But don't you think that it's time for them to try to be selfish? They've not been selfish. I mean, why not? They don't want to be with Fitz doesn't want to be, clearly he doesn't want to be with Mellie. And you don't think it's time? I mean, they've been going back and forth for 2 seasons now. I think Fitz is tired of it, as are some other gladiators. They just really want to see that whole thing, the angst and the drama between, for that to just end. Don't you think?
I think so. But we have to remember, too, that he's the president of the United States. And so it's never, it's not as if his life will ever be his life. He thinks, if I get to run off with Olivia, then my life will be great. But you are still, even if he were to leave, you are still the 44th president. I think he's the 44th. The 44th president of the United States, period. And so your life will never be private. You'll never get to go and live in Vermont and make jam. Like, that is not, you gave that up. That's a piece of giving up your life. And so I just think he's being unrealistic. They're being unrealistic to think that if they give up the presidency, then their life will just go back to normal. Doesn't work like that. Doesn't work like that.
Aw, I thought it should.
I wish it did. I really do.
We have some Twitter interactions here. I asked what their 3 highlights for this episode was. Morgan from Legally Cam 225 says, hard to pick at this point, but I would say Vermont flashbacks and Huck going ham on Liv. Yeah, I thought so too. What did you And then Allison Clutter says Fitz getting some presidential balls. High. Number 3 was Liv and Fitz never back down. And 4, Fitz's amazing drools. So clearly we have a Fitz fan right there.
Absolutely.
But I think that the game-changing moment for this episode tonight was when Olivia realized her father was the head of B613. I always mess that up. What do you think the game-changing moment was for tonight?
I absolutely have to agree. Because she wasn't crazy about her father anyway. Like, she wasn't, I don't know what their backstory is. I hope that we get the full story of why she was just resentful toward him from the beginning of when he was introduced. But once she figured out that he was in charge of B613, everything went to hell after that. Like, there was no redemption for them. So, yeah, that was definitely a game-changing moment. And when Huck realized it, it was a big game-changing moment, I would say.
Yeah, I think so too, because Huck was so hurt. I was like, oh my gosh, she hurt Huck. And I almost didn't even, I was late to the podcast because I was like, Huck.
Yeah.
So upset about it. What scene would you have extended or taken out of tonight's show?
I would have extended the last scene between Huck and Olivia. I think it would have been better, like, earlier, not too early, but a little earlier so it could have got some extra time just to see how that plays out. Because that 3-second thing, I think it was like a minute and some change, wasn't long enough to get the full dynamic of that interaction between them.
Yeah, I agree with you. I would have loved to see that moment extended, or even a couple of the moments between Liv and her father.
Mm-hmm.
Because they seem to be a little too short. I wanted like some more. The manipulation in this episode was so amazing. When she actually allowed Edison to come meet her father and told him, was basically undercover threatening him. Oh, love that. Live for it. Loved it. Love it.
I think Olivia has this idea that because Fitz is her love and because he's the president, that makes both her and her father, or her and Fitz and his administration, untouchable. I don't think she realizes how powerful B613 is, that they don't answer to the president. They make decisions by and for themselves, and they have nobody to answer to. I don't think she's really grasped that yet. So her threatening her father with Edison really wasn't the best idea.
No, it wasn't. How does the title for this episode reflect the plot and character motivations?
It is the plot. Like, that's like the dinner part, the fact that her father manipulates her and gets her to do what he wants her to do based on this premise of them going to dinner and being connected through dinner because they're family. It sums up the whole basis of their relationship, because outside of them going to dinner, they have no relationship. And even if they go to dinner, all they do is sit there and look at each other, and they end up fighting and whatever. But that is the whole nutshell of their relationship.
Is the dinners?
It's the dinners. It's all about the dinner. She got that man freed by
over
saying,
a dinner.
Daddy, I will go with you. I will go with you to dinner.
That's crazy.
It's crazy.
It's like dinners are back on the table, and that's how Jake got released, because it wasn't actually Fitz. His little statement really did nothing. It was actually
nobody cares.
That's crazy. That is insane. Who is your favorite character this episode?
Ooh. I have to say Fitz.
Really?
Fitz was my favorite character. I loved the lines about his presidential balls. I loved the fact that he was like playfully bantering with Olivia about going for the jugular. And I love the fact that he was a little bit considerate in this episode. Like, he had a moral dilemma. Do I try to exert my power as president and get this man freed, even though I know that he slept with the woman that I love, or do I just leave him locked up, not knowing what's going to happen to him, having my mistress or whatever going to the morgue to see if he's there every time a body comes in, or I could do this. And so that moral dilemma, he really took the high road there, and I was very impressed because I do not expect Fitz to ever take the high road.
Well, wow. Why do you have such a low opinion of Fitz? Everyone loves Fitz.
He killed the Supreme Court justice. Need we remind people that
Hey, what's a little murder amongst fans?
Amongst presidents.
I know, right? He's like, because I didn't murder nobody.
Killed her. And you can never come back from that. Never, ever, ever.
Well, she had to go. My favorite character this episode was actually Tom. And because Tom is so smooth, like he just comes out of nowhere to do Fitz bidding. You just don't expect it. It's crazy. So that was my favorite moment. The other one, my least favorite character this episode. Oh, Liv was my favorite character too because I really liked the way she did those little subtle threats. That was pretty freaking hot. Alexandria Johnson says that her favorite character this episode was Rowan. We're getting tweets, and yeah, she said Rowan was her favorite character. Rowan is scary. I wouldn't ever.
I didn't think it got scarier than Cyrus and scarier than what is the guy's name who blew up? Hollis. But Rowan is scary.
Yes, he is.
You know, I wouldn't play around with him. Like he's pretty scary, and I understand in many ways what Olivia has inherited from him.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's true. Because it's given us insight into who she really is, like where she came from and why she's so manipulative. Because she's manipulative even though she's on the side of good.
Absolutely. Even though she wears the white hat, she does it on her own terms, and she manipulates people to get it. So I absolutely positively agree.
Who's your least favorite character this episode?
Oh, Rowan.
Really?
Oh, absolutely. He is my least favorite character. You know, there's something just about the way that he's constructed. Like, he's very, very, very patriarchal. And I have a patriarchal father. And my father has nothing on Rowan. Like, my father is nothing like him. Like, he is, like, patriarchy to the extreme. To the extreme. And it's very... it's just so much. I've never seen somebody as manipulative as he is toward Olivia in a father-daughter relationship on television. I'm sure it happens in real life, but on television.
Now you mad because it's on TV. On television.
I can't believe it. But, like, whoa. Like, he's definitely my least favorite character. I think he's going to be my least favorite character
the
until
whole season. Well, Jake's back, so now, you know, yeah. I can say that he wasn't my least favorite. You know who was my least favorite? And I've been, like, rooting for him, but Edison, oh, my gosh. When I say Edison made me so mad this episode, first of all, he was overly demanding to a woman who clearly said, look, Negro, I do not want this right now. And he basically gave her an ultimatum to make her, you know, decide to be with him, which was ridiculous. And then when she did decide to be with him, he was so stupid as to not know that she's manipulating you. Duh. I mean, there has to be, come on. I just thought that was ridiculous. Come on.
I think he's often blinded by his love for Olivia.
He's blinded by his love of thighs. He likes what's between them.
That is also true. I won't deny that. But I think that he just can't see the forest from the trees. And Olivia knows that, so she manipulates him very well. Not to say that there's some, you know, that's okay, but she manipulates him very, very well because he's so trusting of her.
Well, Texas Gladiator Mia Harris 01 on Twitter says that all of the characters this episode were not her favorite. So she said the only thing she liked was Fitz's balls. So I have to get my charger. So hold for a second.
Sure.
Oh, Lordy. Now, isn't this fun? Oh, crap. Well, that's real and that's live. That's nice. Running out of charge while you're on air. So, what moment or character could you relate to the most on this episode? It must be Olivia, since you were talking about the patriarchal stuff.
Um, yes and no, because my father is not. I have an amazing dad. I mean, I love my father. I consider him one of my best friends, absolutely. But I mean, in some ways, I can kind of relate to Olivia, particularly when it comes to trying to balance that her her family life with what she does and how those often interconnect. Like, I mean, her life is very intertwined. Everything is a web. Like, everybody in her life is connected. And there's no, if you break one piece of the connection, you're still connected to that person. So I can relate to that. But in terms of her father, no. My dad is nothing like him at all.
I don't even know which character I can relate to the most this episode. I actually felt really aligned to Olivia in the first episode of the season, but
Mhm.
now this one, I don't even know who I would put out there as being connected to. I know if I were Huck, I would feel totally betrayed by what Olivia just revealed to him, because she should have told him way earlier than just now. I think
Right.
that as long as they've been friends and he's felt safe with her,
Mhm.
and he's felt safe with her and she's felt safe with him, that she did not do him any favors by giving him that information so late in the game. She should have come clean with him in the beginning, because he definitely told her the truth at the beginning. You know what I mean? Like, she may
Yeah.
not have believed him, and she might have thought he was a crazy medicated liar, but definitely should have, put that out there.
I agree.
It seems
I think
like everybody thinks the game-changing moment tonight was Huck attacking Liv, because I was so surprised to see him do that to her. But go ahead.
I absolutely agree. I was shocked because he's always the person who protects Olivia in many ways. And so to see him do that to her, I was like, okay, she really crossed the line. But I think that I want to say that she had a reason, and I think that's the problem, is that she always has a reason for the crazy things that she does.
And
She
she
always
never
has a
really
reason.
explains them. I think she would
Right.
explain it to Huck. Like, I think she would, but she didn't at that time. And it was so shocking to see. Like, I was like, Huck ain't got his hands around Livia's throat. That ain't my
What
Huck.
is going
Huck
on?
would
Yeah.
never
I felt
do
the same
that.
way. What is going on? Yeah.
But I think the unraveling is beginning, like the unraveling of the gladiators. What was your favorite tweet from tonight? Do you have one?
My favorite tweet from tonight was from an amazing lady named Lovey, who I absolutely adore.
I know, I like her too.
Great. And she said, the White House is guilty of slander. Let me find out the White House is really Black Twitter, which I thought was hilarious. I thought was hilarious.
Like, if the White House is Black
Funny.
Twitter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, that is crazy. What was your favorite outfit from tonight? Because I know you were talking
I
about.
loved Mellie's dress. The blue dress. When she was, I don't know where she was at, but she had on this blue dress. And she looked beautiful. I said, what is going on with Mellie?
It's like, what is going on with her? She's
I
dressing like
know.
an adult and a person on television.
She looks like a first lady. Not to say that she didn't look like a first lady before, but I'm like, all right, you look great.
But people really tuned in for the fashions that Olivia was wearing, more so than the fashions that any of the other castmates were wearing. At least that's what I think.
I agree.
Yeah. What were your favorite two quotes?
Oh, okay. So I loved the quote. Um, I loved the quote that Olivia said to Fitz about she'd make jam. And I think I love that quote from Olivia because it really constructs her very humanly. You know, she has human desires too. It's not just about fixing other people's problems. Like, I want to make jam. I think I tweeted something like I would move to Vermont with Fitz and I would have a million babies and I'd make jam.
Would
So
you?
I thought that was very interesting. And
That would never be me. Just to be clear.
I mean, it just sounds. I'd go with Fitz. Like, he's Fitz. He's the president.
I couldn't make jam. I couldn't even. I don't even think I would make babies. I'm just no.
Okay. Well, wonderful.
I'm just saying. I can't do it. Nope.
And my second favorite quote, of course, was Cyrus in the presidential balls and the presidential balls. Loved that. Loved it.
My favorite quotes were, "You're evil," and that's what Cyrus said to Melly, and she was like, "You're welcome." I love that because I think Cyrus and Melly colluding is such a great thing because to see them putting their heads up against each other or putting it together to kind of make Fitz do what they want him to do, but Fitz is now saying, "Look, I don't care what y'all want. I'm about to do what Liv wants because I want me some of that sweet brown sugar." Like, I like that.
That's true.
I like that. And then when Rowan says to Olivia, "Pick up your menu, order your meal, and tell me about your day." Yeah. And Olivia just looks at him like he must be out of his dang on mind, and she walks away. I thought that was so hot. I'm like, you know what? I don't know why somebody hasn't blown a blow dart like to knock somebody out. I just don't. I don't know. Jazzy Jones from B Blogalicious says that her least favorite character this episode was actually Quinn. And I agree with her. I agree. I didn't say she was my least favorite, but I did not like Quinn this episode. I could have slapped the taste out of Quinn's mouth. I really could have. I mean, you are literally going through somebody else's email. What gives you the right to do any such thing? You're so surprised. And then Shania Broomfield says that Olivia's dad was her least favorite character this episode because he was mean and he has their daddy issues. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And you know what's very interesting to me, particularly, is because Fitz and Olivia both have these daddy issues and they have very controlling fathers. Like, both of them. Both of them have these really very controlling, very type A, want to be completely dominating everything that you do fathers. And I think that's very interesting.
But the only difference between that is that Fitz's father was more out in front. And Rowan is always out in the back. He's in the background, and Fitz's father was in the foreground. So his father could publicly just totally embarrass him, and Olivia's father is quietly murdering folks in the backyard. Like, you don't even see it coming.
Very true. Okay, yes, that's true.
Yeah.
I can agree with that. But at the same time, both Olivia's dad and Fitz's dad are all in their business. Like, it doesn't, like they're not adults. Absolutely. Absolutely.
They can't control their own lives, girl.
I mean, and to me, there's nothing, well, yes, there is something wrong with that. To me, what takes it over the top, because parents should be concerned about their children and their children's choices. What concerns me is that the parents feel like they can dictate Olivia and Fitz's relationships, their careers. When he told her in the last episode, you were supposed to aim higher than the first lady. Dad, this is not, I get to determine if I want to be the chief of staff for the first lady. You can't tell me which one of these options is better because you're not either of those things, So it's kind of this trying to cut the umbilical cord, and your parents are resisting. Like, completely resisting.
So what do you think they should do? I mean, what should they do to resolve that? Because clearly that's not going to change. Fitz's dad is dead. I don't see Rowan going nowhere no time soon.
You know what? I think I think Rowan is not going to make it through the season. It's not.
What?
He has to go.
Are you murdering Rowan off?
No, somebody's going to get him. It's going to be Huck. It's going to be somebody.
It might be Huck. I can see that happening. That makes perfect sense, actually. Huck and Jake team up together and get rid of Rowan. Yeah, I can see that happening. I don't know. How do you think this episode serves the show's larger plot?
I think it deepens it immeasurably. It really, really does. I also think, in terms, and I say that in terms of, now you really get the backstory of Huck in its fullness. Of course, we had the episode last season, the 752 episode, which haunted me for weeks. Of course, we have that episode, but now you really get the full arc of his character development, which is important. I also think you really get to tap into why Olivia and her father now have this very strained relationship. We really don't know why they had a strained relationship in the beginning, but that kind of sets up the plot to kind of explore that. I also think, as you mentioned earlier, this really points to some tension in Olivia Pope and Associates that I think we're going to see played out over the course of the season, particularly with Huck attacking Olivia like that. I think as time progresses, we're going to start to see Pope and Associates kind of crumble just a little bit. Of course, get built up, but, crumble just a little bit, and that was the first sign of that.
But, I honestly don't think that Pope and Associates is going to be built up in any way, shape, or form, only because they look at Olivia as if she's a savior and she can't do any wrong. And then when they're shown that she can do wrong and she's just human and she errs, just like some people in their relationships with their pastors, that they are human and they see that these people have errors and flaws. Now that they pull that curtain back and the wizard is a small, tiny man on top of a stool, they really don't want to buy into the whole story anymore. Like, I think that's the problem, and she's not explaining herself in any way, shape, or form to them either. So it's just creating more and more and more tension because things go wrong, and then she's just like, do what I say do, and that's it. Like, she's acting like a patriarchal father or mother or matriarchal mother. She's acting like the mother of the group and just telling them to do as I say, not as I do. You know what I mean? And it's not fair because they're all adults and they all have their own sense of reasoning and judgment. And clearly this is becoming a problem. See, Quinn is going off of her own. The answers that they're given aren't enough anymore. Like when Harrison was told, when Quinn asked Harrison that question, and Harrison was like, I'm sure Liv has an explanation. I'm sure she has reason. And now they're starting to question more and more. And I don't think Huck would have ever breached the sanctity of Olivia's inner life if it hadn't been for Quinn. And Quinn finding out that information and kind of throwing it at Huck, and Huck connecting the dots and being like, and I think Quinn connected those dots before she threw that stuff at Huck. And I think her loyalty is to Huck, which is weird. Yeah, her loyalty is not to Olivia, and it never really was.
I was going to say that. I don't think that Quinn ever had like a true sense of loyalty to Olivia because she always felt like Olivia betrayed her. She thought that some stranger came and kidnapped her and gave her this whole new identity. Didn't realize that it was Olivia, so she's never really had loyalty to Olivia anyway. She always, even from the beginning, it used to annoy me. It still annoys me, but she always questioned everything that Olivia did. Anything she said, anything she did, is why is she saying that? Why is she doing that? But that curiosity, I think, is starting to spread. It's kind of becoming contagious. What is really going on? Why is it that this is going on and we don't know about it? What's going on with this? And I think that is going to continue. That's going to be a theme that continues to play out over the course of the season.
But it was Abby initially, and I think now that Abby is getting some penis, she really doesn't care. Like, she's like, girl, I don't have time for that. I'm getting penis. I'm good.
Abby drives me nuts, but somehow, some way, I like her.
I think because regardless, she's going to ride for Olivia, even when Olivia is wrong.
Yes.
She just is. And Olivia's betrayed her with that whole David Rosen thing and shutting down the relationship between the two of them that Harrison did. Hello, that was a betrayal, and I don't know how she's gonna. I don't even know if any of them have gotten over any of it. Olivia's betrayed every single person in this group, so she has to have done the same to Harrison, and we just haven't found
You
out,
just
and
don't
Harrison
know.
doesn't know yet because he
Ah,
literally is the only one out of the group that we haven't seen a small betrayal for. Don't you think?
that's true. That's because we don't even know who Harrison is. We're still trying to figure out, is his name really Harrison? Like, we don't.
Ooh, Harrison rides on the left side of Olivia's nipples. I think it's just Harrison is just like, I don't care what Liv do, I'm right here. I'm right here with Liv. I don't care. Y'all go, bye y'all. I'm right here in
I
the
mean,
big
that's
office
fine.
looking out
Don't
the
get me
window.
wrong. That is perfectly fine.
I have to say, no, it's not fine. I can't stand Harrison. I don't know. I think he's attractive, but I just don't like him in his little man suits and his
I am
weirdly colored
shocked.
ties and
You
shirts.
are
I
the
just don't
first woman, and
know.
probably the last, who says that you are not here for Harrison. I am
I'm
here for
not.
Harrison every day of every week, every
No.
hour of every. I love Harrison. I just wish I knew who Harrison was. Because
You
I
know
still
who
have.
I'm here for? I'm here for Cyrus. I'm here for. I am here a little bit for Rowan because I like Rowan. I like the character. I think I'm here for the bad guys. I think.
I think so too. Are you also
I
here for Fitz? Are you here for Fitz?
no. I like Fitz. He's okay. But I would prefer, like, I'm here for Hollis. I'm here for Melly, especially new Melly. Love me some new Melly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Love it. Love me some new Melly. I'm sorry. Hey, whatever. You can make those plans.
You can stand on that island all alone because I am here for none of those characters. I'm here for Cyrus. I'm here for Cyrus. I'm here for Cyrus 99% of the time. I especially love Cyrus's love scenes with his husband. I think those scenes are amazing.
I think so
I love to
too.
see them interact. Even when he was
Yeah.
trying to kill his husband, have his husband killed, I still love the way that they interact. But
Well,
the
they were
rest
so surprised last episode when not Hollis, when Cyrus decided to open a kill folder on Olivia. I'm like, this dude was about to shoot his husband in the head. Cyrus is a
yes,
G.
he
Like,
made
you
the
can't.
decision at the last second.
I'm like, Cyrus, don't cry.
He made the decision at the last second not to do that. So yeah,
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
not at
So,
all surprised.
so what do you think, based on this episode alone, what do you think the overall season arc will be before we go on break and come back?
The overall arc is definitely going to be about Olivia and her father. It's
You
going to
think
be about.
so?
I think so. I think it's going to be about the lies that they weave and how that impacts not only Olivia and Pope and Associates, but also the presidency. And I think we're going to see that dynamic start to play out more and more as the season progresses. Until my prediction comes true that Rowan is killed.
I don't think Rowan's going anywhere. Rowan is the boogeyman, and the boogeyman has to exist for everybody to be happy. I mean, Rowan is not going anywhere. And I think the season overall arc before we go on break is going to have something to do with Olivia and Fitz. That's what I think because of the way things are going now and him being so, like, the whole idea, like, I don't know if you listened to the last episode, but Katrina said that she believes that Fitz and Olivia put this plan together, the step one, step two, that kind of thing. She believes that they put the plan together out there. And I have to agree. Like, I think that Olivia was probably the mastermind of the plan, and they're just implementing. And this is implementation, so we don't know what's going to happen by season's end, the actual season's end, between Olivia and Fitz for season 3, because they're kind of setting it up to where they'll be together, but you know that never is. I don't think it's ever going to happen. But hey, you never know.
And once that happens, what will be what will be the point of the show?
Look, I just want to see them get some hot sweatiness on. That's all I want to see. Cause Lord, it's been a couple of days. That's all I'm saying. I'm not gonna be specific. I'll just leave that in the air.
I just keep shaking my head.
He's like, mm-mm.
A word.
Too much job. So yeah, well, those are my thoughts. I thought the episode was really good. I cannot wait to go back and watch it again. I'll probably have tens and thousands of other observations that I didn't even put down on this paper because it was right after, and I'm trying to get on here to start the podcast, and I'm still thinking about everything. It was all so fresh. Absolutely. So we'll see. But thank you so much for joining me, Evette. Or do you have any final thoughts?
Final thoughts. Tune in next Thursday because it's gonna get good with the hostage situation happening.
Yes, I believe so. Definitely tune in next Thursday to the Scandal Fam podcast, and we're actually going to be putting the podcast out on Fridays at 8 p.m. because we tape the show on 2 different days, so I figured it would be better for you all to get it on the same day. So you should get it on Fridays at 8 p.m., and if you don't get it by 8, that's because we ran over on the Friday episode, and I'm late with typing it up. That's pretty much the gist of it.
Understandable.
And next time that we'll have Panel B on, hopefully y'all will come up with a name so I can stop calling y'all Panel A and Panel B. But when you all come on next time, it shall be all 3 of you. So thank you all for joining us on the Scandal Fan podcast. Have a good weekend.